Hello and welcome along to another episode of The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 4, Episode 7, and today we start the run into the League One campaign. We've just about got Scunthorpe out of trouble. We've had a really good spell since the January window, of course aided by a couple of Alan Judge's signings. If you're not sure what I mean about that, you can catch up with a playlist in the eye above and find out what he did in the January window. A really remarkable spell of events, showed skills well above the attributes he's been given as a director of football, but he's brought us in the tools to help us survive, and as a result we've climbed up to 15th. We're chasing that magic 50-point barrier and we're now just 4 away with 8 games to go, and I'm hoping we can try and wrap that up today. We're at home to 22nd place Port Vale in the second match, away to 14th place Gillingham next up, so a couple of really big games that are winnable at this level, although to be fair we've been winning pretty much everything at the moment, so I'm really excited about what the future of this save brings. Again, apologies for the slightly waning voice, it is starting to go a bit, so over the next few days it may disappear entirely, but for now we're cracking on with the end of the League One season. We're away to John McGrill's Gillingham today, and we'll find out the form we go into it within a minute. But of course I want to look at the dynamic screen as well, just to show you how well we've been coming along in recent weeks. The dressing room atmosphere is good, the managerial support's still average, and I think that's a couple of the new signings not convinced by us. Some of the loanees he's got in from higher levels have got much bigger reputations than we have as a manager, and I sort of understand why that might be more difficult. And there's also a couple of the top players that haven't got new contracts, but of course we haven't got a say in that. Our director of football manages everything, staffing, transfers, contracts, always the same in this series, so please don't ask me why I haven't offered players new deals. I would love to offer some of these guys a new contract, but it's totally out of my hands. We just have to manage the team on the pitch. Fingers crossed our director of football will do the rest for us. But we've got a good team cohesion, everything's looking good in that regard, so we will go and have a look at the results in a second. But firstly, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to support the series. I really do greatly appreciate it. If you are enjoying it still, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It makes such a difference to how it performs, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for daily FM20 content. This long-term stories every 2 days at 4:30, and then my Dorking Wanderers One Club series in between. But let's go and have a look at the schedule, see the recent results since you were last with me, and it's been a sea of really good performances and results. You were obviously with me for that Rotherham game at the end of January, which finished with the January transfer window and those brilliant signings on deadline day, and we followed it up with a run of just 1 defeat in 7 games, albeit with only 1-2 but 4 good draws against top sides in the league. So let's go through them very quickly, and we can see if Ryan Longman's continued his good goal scoring run as well. So away to Walsall, he did just that, made it 5-5 for the club, or was it 4-4? Let me just go back and check. 1, 2, 3 games in a row there. 4 in a row, so it's his 5th game in a row for the club and he scored. So 5-5 at this point. He gave us the lead just before half time. Tyree Wilson had done the same earlier on in the match, but unfortunately Walsall pegged it back with 15 remaining. Not sure where they are in the league, they're up in 7th, chasing the playoffs, and look who their key player is. Matt Butcher, for any of you who were following Torquay last year, you remember him from that series. He was a superstar for us, and a really good player there who helped Walsall, but we still got a really good point on the road. Then a 2-0 win at home to Ipswich, a side who are right up at the top of the league. They still are top in fact, but we beat the leaders. Walker and Olamola with late goals. It was started by a penalty, so no real surprises, but a strong performance. We looked solid again, though we did lose Bobby Carroll for a month in that match, and he only actually just made it back in the last one, so we will get to see him returning to fitness today. But away to Wigan, another 2-1 victory, a really good result against the side who are up there. They've dropped to 10th now, but they're still doing pretty well. A 2-1 victory courtesy of Wilson and Bishop. 2 games in a row where Longman didn't score at this point, and I was starting to get a bit concerned about him, but I needn't have worried, of course. A 1-1 draw away to Blackpool followed. Look who scored it, the youngster Andy Cook. We had a real crisis in central midfield at this point. We had Woodyard out long term, he was just coming back. Adam King picked up a knock who was covering in there. We didn't have Bobby Carroll because of that injury a couple of games back, so there's 18-year-old Andy Cook came in. He moved up to 2-star ability, got his first league goal for the club, and a really strong performance to go with it. A really decent player who's progressing quite nicely. Then at home to QPR, our only defeat so far. They're up in 2nd place at the moment. They were 3rd at the time. Ashley Barnes leading the line for them again, though it was Jordan Hugill, the other experienced striker, who got the goal. And then Curtis Jones, who again was pulling off cup heroics for Liverpool in real life at the weekend. He was the man who scored for them. On 12 grand a week at this level, worth nearly 3 million. Look at his attributes in comparison. Of course, we had him at Newcastle in the head coach last year. In FM19, he was worth about 50 million there, I think. A really, really good player, top class, playing in a Champions League at that level. But here he's doing a good job for QPR in League One, and I'm pretty sure, to be fair, he's going to be playing in a Championship next year. Then at home to Exeter, a 0-0 draw. Not the best result against the side below us in the league, but it kept that distance to those sides fighting relegation. We were really strong at the back in this game, although we did disappoint going forward, but that changed against Colchester in the last match. A 1-1 draw with Stephen Walker getting the first half goal. Harry Pellalate equaliser for United at home. They managed to get themselves a point, but it was another unbeaten game. Unfortunately, Longman yet to end his goal drought, but a really good performance leading us into this one, and I'm quite confident going into this double header. So if we can get a point or two out of the episode, hopefully 4 to get to the magic 50 of course, but either way I'm not too worried at the moment. It's just about staying up for now, and it looks like we're going to comfortably achieve that, and we're really starting to build a good side for next year too. So with that in mind, let me very quickly show you the contract situation. A few players have been signing new deals over recent weeks, so the likes of Jaden Brown, who joined in January, are joined by Burgess and Flanagan on 3-year deals. Butroid, McGarhy, Colclough and Longman all tied down till the end of next year, but at the moment the rest of it's looking a bit sketchy. Watson's just ended his unhappiness in the last episode, so I'm hoping he'll get a new deal. He's really been playing well in recent weeks after a pretty sketchy start coming back, though as we discussed in a previous episode with Fury, that may well have been more to do with the match engine and his performance. Since we've gone back to the standard version of the game, he doesn't seem to have had any problems at all. We've got a few other players in there as well, the likes of Olamola, Bishop, Andy Cook the youngster, and the other two of course I'd like to keep. The likes of Chapman and Steele, we really want them at the club. There's people who are looking at signing them now as well. We don't want to lose out on some of our best youngsters at the club when they'd probably stay if we offered them minute deals. So fingers crossed Alan Judge will get to work on that as we go and get into work in our first of the 2 live games today. We're away to Gillingham. It's a mid-table clash. Both sides look like they're going to be really safe now, and there's 6,500 through at Priestfields in this one, a ground I haven't actually visited yet in real life. For those of you who don't know, I'm trying to do the 92 club. I'm almost halfway at the moment, and Gillingham's probably one of the most local ones I'm yet to tick off if you exclude London, which is about 30 miles from us. So Gillingham's a ground I'll probably be visiting next season, and hopefully I'll get good memories from that one as well as this game today. So let's just make sure the 11's fully fit. I haven't changed it from the last game at all, and I'm seeing if anyone's back in the reserve side. Woodyard's fit again, so he can come in for Andy Cook. He's been on good form, but we want to make sure we protect these youngsters. At 18, he's made 9 league appearances this year, and we don't want to overdo it while he's training heavily too. And the same goes for Flanagan, who's been taken out recently. I know he has come back in the last game or two. 19 league appearances at 18 years of age, only just turned that age in January too. So we've got to look after him. You can see his training performance is dropping off, so I'm just going to take him out the squad for now, try and give him a little bit of a breather, and we'll bring in Tafari Moore, one of the defenders. We haven't got much of that on the bench as it stands, so hopefully he'll give us another option in there. We've got Jacob Badeau coming back from injury too, who's been training woefully since he's back as well, so I'm just going to leave him a little while longer. And then the only real decision to make is at left back. Jaden Brown and Lewis Boutroy, both of them doing pretty well. 6.8s, they're doing pretty averagely. Each one's having the odd bad game, and that's when I tend to be switching them round. You can see the last time Boutroy started was the QPR match. He got a 6.5, we then changed him out, and then Brown's been in the sky for the 2 games since. So I'm going to stick with that for now. So that's our 11 in full. Watson in goal, Brown and Lamptey the full backs, with Burgess and McGarhy centre half. We've got Neil in the holding role, Carroll and Bishop in the middle, Colclough and Walker on the wings, and then Longman on his own up front, hoping to end his goal drought. Been a little difficult spell for him, still managed to get himself a couple of assists, and of course he scored that goal against QPR, so it's only actually 2 where he hasn't got a goal. We have got the other January loan signings to contend with as well. In fact, Tyree Wilson's on the bench today, and I forgot that was because he was tired last time out, so we'll put him back in for Colclough. And in terms of the other 2 youngsters, it's just because we haven't got enough loan spaces in the squad. 5's in the starting lineup, so we don't want to put these 2 on the bench, though Colin Lloyd has made 1 appearance already. Benny's made 1 as well, both off the bench, and I'm sure they'll feature again. Both of them have been really good squad players for us. Well, let's go and get into the game against Gillingham, see if we can get ourselves a decent result. Hopefully a point if nothing else, keep that little unbeaten run ticking over. 1 defeat in about 10 that would be then, and let's see if we can do it against a 4-2-3-1. Hopefully Tom Neal will curb the number 10. We're going to encourage the lads as Cliff Byrne recommends, and hopefully the lads will respond, and as we get into the first half we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope we can get another point or 3 on the road. Okay, 6 minutes gone, we're back for a corner, outswinger to Longman, Tyree Wilson taps in, that is brilliant poaching. Again, his finishing rating is 2, his composure rating's not great, but he's put it in straight away, and he's improved so much this season. I'd love to be able to keep him, but unfortunately I think Burnley will want him back after this season, or is it Derby he's on loan for? As we come back for one of those mid-highlights, it's a little bit of a weird one, we haven't seen that for a few months on the channel, but Bishop's got a corner now, we're going to deliver it into the back post, the excitement levels are high, a good delivery again, Wilson down but away, Mandron gets clear towards Bishop on the right, and another chance to swing it in to double the lead. What a fantastic start it's been. Back to Carroll 25 yards out, plenty of time on the ball here, he goes wide, he's got a chance to deliver, loses out in the second challenge though, and eventually Gillingham get it clear, and I'll try and calm down after that brilliant start. Well, half an hour gone, we're back for a Gillingham highlight. I just saw the director of football's comment in the top left of the screen there, telling the lads to calm down after that start. It was probably me needed to tell that too, but Mikael Mandron scored at the front stick. Really poor marking in the middle there. I think it was McGahey who lost his man. Watson beaten at his near post, another bit of disappointment for him. But McGahey on a yellow couldn't make the challenge, and unfortunately Gillingham a level. We've been the better side in this half, although we haven't seen many of the highlights on camera. I'm not too disappointed with the result though. I'd happily take a 1-1 draw in this one, and then hopefully a win at home to Port Vale to go with it. Watson with a goal kick just on the verge of half time. Long ball forward which Longman loses out. Falls for Walker on the left though, he cuts in. Chance to shoot, goes back to Bobby Carroll. His shot tipped over the bar, or onto the bar in fact by Bonham. He drops back down, he picks it up the second time, and at half time it will be 1-1 at Priestfields. A pretty good performance to be fair. We haven't won in 3 despite the fact we've been unbeaten in the last 2. A lot of draws recently and it's probably going to be reflected today. We've got Tom Neal struggling for fitness in the holding role, but another corner from Bishop. Longman nods down. He's been a threat in there. Where's the penalty? Longman goes down completely off the ball. Ingram's been booked and we've got a pen. Walker will take it. He's the number 1 choice. Can he put it in like he did last time round? Here he steps up Walker, straight down the middle. The keeper dives to his left and we lead 2-1 at the start of the second half. We've started it just as well as we did the first. Well, this is the news we were hoping to not see today. We've got an injury just after the hour mark. It's Tyree Wilson on the right wing who's going to have to come off. So I think we're going to replace him with Cole Clough. Looks the best fit. Like for like replacement while we're playing well. So let's just get back into it. Stay on the counter-attack. Hopefully Cole Clough be just as effective. Right, just under 20 to go. We've got to think about changes again. Bobby Carroll not quite back to fitness and he's overwhelmed by the recent feedback. So I'm going to bring on Adam King, who's match fit for him. Just give him 20 minutes to try and make sure he runs the midfield. That fresh legs in there always makes a difference. Woodyard would normally be the option. He's slightly more experienced, but both players have got plenty of games under their belts and Woodyard's nowhere near match fit, as you can see. So I think we've picked the right option there. And we've got Tom Neal who's struggling a little bit as well. So Woodyard may get on a bit later on. But for now, I'll get back into it with 1 sub remaining. It'll allow us to time waste later if we need to. Well, 10 to go, and we've got a bit of a situation here. Gillingham with a ball from the left, headed to the back post. Mandron down on the line. Cole Clough's got it on the line. What's he doing? Just clear the ball, man. He's standing on the line with the ball at his feet, waiting for players to close him down. But with 3 minutes left, it's a Gillingham highlight. I was about to make the last change, but you know my superstition. Burgess heads the through ball away. Brown clears it long. A bit of a 2-footed lunge there, but it looked like Gillingham didn't make contact with our man, and unfortunately the referees ignored it as a result. Long ball forward by Bonham towards Finney. Flicked on by Wilson. There's a couple up there. Well won back by King. He's on a yellow and sliding in all over the place. Not sure I'm a big fan of that. As Walker loses out in the middle again, but King does well to mop up for a second time. Out to Bishop and now Brown the left back. Long ball down the line if you want there, son. Goes back inside to King again though. He's played really well in this highlight. Here's Neal to Bishop. We're keeping the ball in the middle. Just don't want to lose it in our own half there. And I'm a little bit concerned the way we're passing it about. It doesn't look entirely convincing. Eventually a long ball down left. It is lost out in the end. And then Gillingham clear long down the right hand side. Wixon's charging at our back 4. We've got a man from midfield going out. He's made a really good challenge. Second ball's into Burglow, down to Mandron who scores. And we've thrown it away in the last second, just before we were going to go to time waste. And Jaden Brown's going to have to be replaced now. Or in fact, it'll have to be Neal. He's anxious, he's really tired. So I'm going to bring on Woodyard in his place in a holding role. He looks pretty comfortable in that position, so we're just going to stick there for the last minute or 2. And fingers crossed we can hold on for a well-deserved point. We've been far the better side for the most part of this game. Right, we're 3.5 minutes into stoppage time. We're not really having much of the ball at the moment. There haven't been any highlights, but I'm just going to try and time waste a little. Make sure we see out the point. It'll take us on to 47, just 3 from that magic 50. Crew are losing, so they stay on 35. We managed to hold on with 12 points clear, just 7 games to go in the league. I think that's going to pretty much wrap up survival. But one more win against Port Vale next time round, and I think we could pretty much start to celebrate. We're really pleased with the efforts. We've got ourselves out of trouble. Everyone's looking delighted with that point, and it's another unbeaten game on the road, another one where we've looked threatening in front of goal, although our defending's been a little bit suspect on this occasion, and that's probably a little bit of food for thought for the next one. But 15th in the league, 47 points, stay 3 behind Gillingham above us of course, but 12 clear now of Crew in a relegation zone, and to be fair I think we've pretty much wrapped it up. We've got 22nd place Port Vale next weekend. They lost at home to Blackpool today, and I think we'll be able to stay up if we beat them. But let's go and see what the media said about the game. Gillingham hold out for a draw as we were the better side. More of the ball, more shots, just didn't quite have that conversion rate. Unfortunately, we're missing Tyree Wilson for 2 to 3 weeks now. It says it was innocuous, but he suffered ankle ligament damage. You never want to take a risk with that. And in a draw, as we're still chasing our first win in 5, but 4 of those are draws, so we've got to put it into a bit of context. I'm happy enough with that largely unbeaten run, and that's 3 without defeat now, so I'm going to put a more positive spin on it. Hopefully the lads will be ready for the next game. We'll be back in a moment to face Port Vale in a week, where we should be able to get the job done against one of the basement sides. Back for our second game of the day against Port Vale in League 1. Just trying to survive the relegation battle. We're up in 15th. A win would basically secure survival today. And to be honest, the reason I want to wrap it up early is we've got those 4 brilliant youngsters in the team. I'd love to get them all into the first 11 for the last 5 or 6 games. Try and give them a run in the team. Get them a little bit of improvement. Woodyard's not fit. He's going to be on the bench today. He can do 45 minutes if need be. Boutroyd again will be on the bench, although he is fully fit should we need him. Brown's going to be given yet another chance. We want to try and make him our first choice moving forward. We play at home to Port Vale. We should be winning this game. We're heavy favourites at home for the first time since I've been here, and despite being in poor form, it's better than Port Vale's. They've lost 4 in a row. We've drawn our last 3, so we can look at that and say we're unbeaten, but we've got a big miss today, and you can see it on the screen there. Cameron Burgess, he's on international duty with Australia. It shows you just how good he is. 1 cap he's got, and that shows you the sort of form he's been in recently too. Nearly 7 for his average rating, a really good player. Unfortunately, we're going to be without him today. It's a position where we're a little bit weak in terms of backups. We're obviously missing Tyree Wilson from his injury last week. We've got nearly 6,000 through the gate though. Tafari Moore, he's on international duty too. Not sure why that wasn't mentioned on the last screen either. It looks like he's gone away with his international team. Barbados he's playing for, 30 caps at 25. So no backup right back either. We're a little bit of the bare bones at the back. Although having said that, Wilson being out means we can put one of those new loan players on the wing, so it means Lloyd can come into the team. In fact, I'm still going to start Coleclough ahead of him, but Lloyd will make his way onto the bench today. He's available if we need him. He can cover central midfield too. That'll make a bit of a difference for us moving forward. In the centre half, it's either Terrell Thomas. He's been fit for a while, not really played though. A very average centre half. Or alternatively, we can go for Bordeaux, who's back from a long-term injury. I'm going to have to go for Thomas for fitness reasons. So Thomas will be on the bench. Then Bordeaux will come in as the backup centre half. Tafari Moore's not available. We have got Boutroyd as a backup fullback though, so I can make him a midfield player. Is there anyone else we want to bring on? It might have to be Andy Cook again, I think. A second to third central midfielder. We could go for Kumbeni ideally, but we haven't got another lone player space in the squad, so we're not going to be able to get him in there. So I think it might have to be Eddie Flanagan out of all of them. He looks the most suitable object. He can play out wide and up front. Gives us a little bit more option in that regard. So we'll get into the game with just those changes made. So is Thomas in a centre half? He's going to be replacing Burgess, who is on international duty, and Coleclough's coming in on the right for the injured Wilson. He went off in the last game, as you remember. And then on the bench we've got Colin Lloyd and we've got Eddie Flanagan, and then Jacob Bordeaux comes on as well from the last game. So let's go and get into this match against Port Vale and see if we can wrap up survival. Well, both teams are playing a variation of the 4-5-1. There's Aston Oxborough in goal. He was a hero for me in a save off camera a few years back. But they're going for 2 holding midfielders, including Jacob Butterfield. Those of you that follow my beta save with Luton Town, you'll remember him from that series. 32 years of age now. You can see physically he's miles off the pace. Still a good 2-footed ball-playing midfielder though. A really good player in real life. He has played for us quite well this year at Luton. Just drifted out of the team in recent weeks though. But let's go and talk to the boys. Tell them to pick up where they left off. In fact, we can't do that, so we're just going to encourage them. Cliff Byrne's normally right with his recommendation, and we'll be hoping we can get on top early on here. Well, 10 minutes gone, Port Vale are on top. We haven't seen a highlight yet, but they've had all the territory, so I'm just going to a balanced mentality. I might even go positive now, as nothing's really changed. And with 20 gone, we've got a highlight on the right. It's Lamptey playing a 1-2 with Longman. Chance to deliver is back to Alan Neal, though. Tom Neal, sorry, I'm going back a few years there. As he's played to the edge to Bishop, outside of the post from the edge of the box. Really good effort, actually. He tried to curl it into that far corner, but the keeper had it covered. It hit the post and went out. And with 30 minutes gone, it's still 0-0 here. But we're still looking good for survival, though. Well, nearly half-time, and it is Butterfield, who we mentioned pre-match, on a free kick. Into the box, it's bobbled down. Oh, it's gone in. It went through Watson again. That didn't look the best bit of goalkeeping. We've been really poor today. I'm going to drop back to balance for half-time, but I'm going to have a right go at these lads. They've been miles off the pace. They've not played well. We're giving these guys a route back in. Port Vale won 3 points today. Crewe are winning as well in their match. That's making things really difficult for us. We're going to ask the lads show a bit of desire. They've been all over the place, and we need a big response in the second half from them. Got a few anxious faces out there, so I might even try and go very attacking soon. We're not really creating anything. Still no shot on target. A lot of possession, but nothing nothing to come from it. And with an hour gone, we are going to go attacking, see if it makes any difference going forward. But it's still Port Vale on the attack. Butterfield delivers. Oh, Watson's missed it again. He has had a shocker in goal today. How would you come for that? You're caught in no man's land. We're going to demand more for the second time in this half. Absolutely appalling goalkeeping though. He's cost us the game today despite a poor performance. Port Vale not had a threat aside from that. Here's another set piece. Butterfield in. He catches one. Hooray! Go on, Rory Watson. You've caught a free kick. You've done your job for the first time in this match. He's a long ball forward. He's given away possession though. Hasn't done much aside from that. And as soon as he catches it, he does something else badly. I can see why Alan Judge isn't giving him a contract now. And I'm getting very frustrated by his performance today. But all in all, it's been a good few months. It's Hurst on the left-hand side for Port Vale. Chance to deliver. He's got Campbell Gordon in support. No pressure on them at all. Back to Crampton in inside again. Finnegan with a chance to deliver. He goes back to Butterfield though. Port Vale just playing keep ball here. They're taking the mick out of us. They've got it back out to the left again. Lamptey with a good challenge. Down the line to Colclough. Back to Lamptey. Can we get the ball forward at last? Bishop brings it forward in midfield. Charges through a couple of men. Out to the left to Walker. Here's the chance. Can we get back into it? Great goal, Walker. Cuss inside 20 yards out. Curls it into the far corner. We're back in the game and let's make some substitutions. Try and get ourselves a chance moving forward. Colclough's on a booking. He's had a crap game. On comes Colin Lloyd on the right wing. The first time you'll get to see him on camera, of course. Teddy Bishop in the centre. A little bit anxious, but he just set up that goal, so we'll give him 5 more minutes. We'll get back into it with just that one made for now, and we'll make some more with 15 to go. Well, no further highlights. 15 to go then. Longman's coming off, replaced by Olamola. We just need a bit of magic up front. Longman's been in pretty poor form. Olamola with a spell out, maybe motivated to do better. Hopefully he'll respond with a good performance now. And then Adam King's going to come on again for Carroll. Had a pretty average game in the middle of the pitch. Jaden Brown struggled at left back again, but no confidence in the keeper behind them. That's the biggest problem. We're going to ask the lads to show some passion with 10 to go. Go very attacking. Can we get it forward? Team instructions, let's pass a bit longer. We've only got 5 left and we need to lick a goal somewhere. Is there anywhere else we can go more attacking? I don't think there is. We're going to prevent short goalkeeper distribution. See if we can nick one from Olamola pressing. But with 2 to go, it looks like we're going to lose to Port Vale. And it looks like we've got Arrogant in one of the easier games. Well, a really disappointing defeat in the end, actually. I'm so disappointed in that performance, just from the way that we've responded against playing a relegation-threatened side. We put no pressure on them in the first half, and the lads have shown they've got a long way to come. And despite a really good form against the top teams, we're still struggling a bit more against the bottom ones. A draw at home to Exeter, a defeat here against Port Vale. The lads seem to get a bit arrogant when they're playing smaller teams. We've got a lot of big game players, and although we were missing 1 or 2 today, the likes of Burgess and Wilson, of course, we still should have done better than we did. And we're really disappointed to lose the match. But oh well, we wouldn't complain about being 15th now. When we joined the club, that was the best we could have hoped for. We've got 23rd place Mansfield next week, so we'll make sure the lads are up for that. A crucial game, they're only on 31 points. We win that again, we get to the 50 mark. Everything's forgiven yet again. Crewe did drop 2 points in the end to Ipswich. The top side, they're bottling it as well at the top, Ipswich. But they did manage to get a point off them in the end. Keeps Crewe 11 points behind us. Port Vale get their gap down to 9 after beating us. But unfortunately for them, we can still get out of trouble next week and reach 50 points if we beat Mansfield. So let's quickly see what the media said about the game. Look at the last 2 games of the season, which is of course when we'll be back. It's 6 without a win now. That's a little bit of a concern. 2 of those defeats now, including this one. Walker scored a brilliant goal, so we'll go and praise him still. He's training really well as well, Stephen Walker. A good young player on loan from Burnley. Another one we'd love to keep, but won't be able to. A really good player who I'm sure will fit in there next season. Makes me understand why I thought Wilson was on loan from Burnley. But let's have a look at the schedule for when we'll be back. It'll be the last 2 games of the season, I can guarantee you that much. Crewe at home, that's a big one. Southend at home as well. Where are they? Southend, they're down in 19th place now. I'm sure when we started at the club, we played them in our first game, didn't we? Correct me if I'm wrong, they were up in 7th place then. They've had a fall from grace. They're behind us in the league. But either way, could be 2 really big games to end the season. I'm hoping there won't be anything riding on them, or I'll be very nervous in that one. The sort of home games we're not very good at normally. And I'm hoping we'll be well out of trouble by then when we come back for you next time. Fingers crossed we'll be well past the 50-point mark. And we'll just be playing the youngsters to get them some football. But if you did enjoy the episode and those 2 contrasting performances, please do put a thumbs up on it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content. We've got this story every 2 days at 4:30. We'll be back for the last 2 games of the season next time. And in the meantime, tomorrow we'll be back with our Dorking Wanderer save. We're embroiled in a big relegation scrap in that one. And actually for the first time in the series, our job's in jeopardy, mainly because we've got a board with hugely unrealistic expectations, which is causing us a little bit of difficulty in that series. So make sure you pop pop over and check it out, see how we're getting on. I need all the moral support I can get. Let me know in the comments what you think we should do moving forward in this save. A lot of players out of contract this summer, including some of those promising youngsters, but I will try and get them some football in the next few games, make it clear to our director of football that they are actually part of our plans for next season. But a massive thanks for watching this one again, I really do appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you next time.